Aloha, my name is Wendell Ka'ehu'ae'a with Nāleo Hawaii Community Access Television, bringing you community news. We have three special guests in the studio, which will be discussing serious issues that many Hawaiians have faced in Hawaii today regarding the protection of Native Hawaiian burial sites. We have Keoni Alvarez, a descendant of a Native Hawaiian burial cave in Puna. We have Mahina, Hawaiian graduate of University of Hawaii Hawaiian Study Program. And next to her we have Doug from the Big Island Land Trust. Hello to all of you. Thank you for coming today.
Hello.
We'll begin with discussing with Keoni, and then we'll move along to Mahina and Doug. First of all, Keoni, tell us more about what's going on with the protection of the Native Hawaiian cave that you found.
Aloha. Well, basically over 20 years ago, we moved to this island, and basically we discovered a Native Hawaiian burial cave, near our home. But ever since then, we became the stewards of this burial site and took on the responsibility of, caring for it. We had the state come over and do documentation about the burial site, but only recently, within 4 years, we found out that there was no documentation, that the state lost, the initial recording that we did.
So who owns the property?
Right now, it's under a private landowner. So they're the owners right now.
So they're willing to sell the property to you?
Yeah.
And the State Burial Council, are they working with you?
We have the Island Burial Council all, gave good recommendation to keep, the burials in place to make sure that, to ensure protection and things like that. But right now, the thing that we're facing today is that, there are many loopholes in the laws that doesn't have teeth to protect the burial site, from development. It's kind of weird because people can develop really close to the burial, and right now in Hawaii we're having difficult time of people even building on the burials.
Yeah. So how do you protect this site? You're gonna buy the site through donations?
Well, initially the whole thing was to get some sort of trust to protect the burial site and put it in some kind of foundation's hands, or who should be responsible for it and things like that. And for us as Native Hawaiians, I believe it should be our responsibility to make sure that this burial site is being protected.
So who's helping you? You can't be doing this by yourself. Huh?
No, there's a lot of different organizations that's helping me. OHA has helped, write numerous letters to the state saying that the burial site should be protected, that there should be like a land acquisition kind of thing. And then also the Island Burial Council gave really strong recommendation to protect the burial site. And I have different hui that's helping me out to giving their manao, their thoughts about how to protect the site.
Going back to the beginning, how did you find out about the cave?
When my brother them discovered it, like just going through the bushes, and they just discovered the burial cave, and ever since then I just took on the responsibility of ensuring its protection. Well, before the land was, if you're going like to the Mahele and things like that, those lands were all ceded lands and things, and just the way Hawaii is today, things got divided and sold, and so that's how it fell into like developers' hands, or subdivision owners and things like that. So, but right now, what we're just trying to do is just trying to raise the money and trying to
just preserve
protect it. Yeah.
But then again, if you take that land over, you're going to preserve the land in which way? I mean, people can't visit the place again.
Right now, in due time, people would be, our Hawaiian people, or people who's culturally involved in our Hawaiian culture should be the ones to visit. But as of it becoming a tourist attraction and things like that, no, that's not a place to.
So what did you folks find in the cave? I mean, identifications or burial or bones or whatever?
Well, in the Hawaiian custom, Hawaiians buried in caves. They did it in numerous different ways. And this burial cave, there was 3 sets of human remains that's in there, and they're positioned in the traditional style how Hawaiians did position themselves. I know that because I went in the cave, and we went with archaeologists, and our own Hawaiian people went in there.
So nobody disrupted anything in the caves then?
No.
Those people that own the property, did they ever go down there?
No. No, No.
So it's all overgrown then, you said?
Right now, it's a natural forest. Yeah. So it's like it's not developed or anything like that. So it's pretty much in its natural state right now. So there's a simple trail that leads to it. There's signs that we put up. We did those kind of things. But as of developing the site, of putting a hale or, dolling it up or or anything like that, I think this burial site should be just preserved.
So you're going to keep it as natural as possible then?
Yeah, natural as possible.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of just trying to protect it the best way we can.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a real interesting issue, especially when you're trying to protect the burial cave and getting the support from the Island Burial Council or even the state. It's a real difficult thing and a difficult process. It's not really easy, but we're just struggling ahead and trying to do the best we can.
So how long have you been working on this project?
Already about 4 years. Like we've been to get it all documented, because it takes a long time to reach these boards, to make sure that the state writes their letters and things like that. So it's been a while, but ever since then, when we first discovered it, we've always been making sure that nobody goes there, desecrate and things like that.
You had any opposition or anybody against the project by state, county, or anybody, or any Hawaiian organization ever kind of contested what you were doing?
No, everybody feels pretty much the same, that our burial sites should be protected and cared for, and who should do it is first of all, the descendants should be taking care of their burials, but if not the descendants, then it's our people should be the ones to to protect it, because it's our responsibility.
Let me go to another guest. We have, Keoni is one of the guests we have in the studio there. Let me go to Mahina. Mahina graduated from the University of Hawaii Hawaiian Studies program, and she's doing some work with the Hawaii Community College. Mahina, thank you for coming.
Hi, aloha.
So tell us how you got involved with Keoni.
Well, I happened on a Hawaiian site, a native Hawaiian agricultural site, a number of years ago, and I called Skylark, because when I had approached the landowners, they were only interested in selling the land, and finding a burial or a Hawaiian site might jeopardize their intention of selling land lots. So I called Skylark, Honolulu Skylark, and she told me about Keoni, and that Keoni could help me, that he was working and had been working for a number of years on trying to protect a site also in Puna. So I called him, and he was kind enough to come out and help me. And when I started to learn about what he was doing.
So let me get back. What project you were going to be doing before you came to Keoni's project?
Well, I'm a grandmother, I'm a kupuna now, and I was in a Hawaiian language class, and we were asked to write a paper about Vahipana, sacred places in Hawaii. And I live in Puna. And so many of the sites that we have on the Big Island we know about. But what about those sites that we don't know about? And I knew from the stories of our family that there were sites right where I lived. But Maku'u is a very old Hawaiian site. People live there, community.
We better explain. Maku'u is
in Puna.
In Puna.
Today, it's kind of in the boonies. Nobody knows about it, but there are many, many articles about Puna and Maku'u when people were traveling on from Hilo, Kea'au, Maku'u, and Kalapana. And so I knew a lot of these stories, but when I tried to find research on where these actual sites were, they weren't documented. And I started looking and started talking to Kupuna about where these sites were, and I was told where a place was, that I actually went there, and it wasn't there. There was nothing there. You talk about Keoni and Malama Ika'aina, these burials. It's not about bringing it to anybody's attention. It is already at our attention as Hawaiian people. And Kula Iwi, where we're from, our iwi from the land. Kupo o Ka'aina, we grow up from the land. This is our kupuna, this is where they are. This is the seat of our foundation. They are there. And they're meant to stay there. It's not about, having a tourist attractions. There's nothing we're going to learn from there except we learn what he has learned from his instilled in him, and that is respect for their place. And their place is there.
Well, like I was telling Keoni, we have the hulas, we have the music, we have the dance, we have that. But Keoni's bringing up a good point about protecting not only gravesite but the cave sites.
Hula isn't a separate entity from protecting caves. It is, or Hawaiian burial sites. It is who we are. That is part of the fiber that is made into us as people. We understand that and respect that. Hula is more out there. But when hula was banned, hula didn't go away. They didn't turn into. They went underground and they protected it. They protected it from somebody else changing it, bulldozing it. So it is here today because somebody actually respected it enough to hold on to it, to those traditions, those protocol remained in place. And that's why today we have those. That's why we have those mo'olelo, because they were taught by their great-grandparents, their grandparents, their parents, their children. And now my grandchildren are taking hula because somebody didn't say, okay, it's banned, we can't do it. They understood that they're not going to dance hula, but this is who we are. And that is we are people who take care of our kupuna.
You and Keoni brought up a major point. A lot of these findings that Keoni found, and we probably have more caves in Puna area, are not documented, not recorded. So this is going to be the first, Keoni?
Right now, just the way we're trying to approach it, yeah, it's I believe that we shouldn't be purchasing, burial caves, to protect it. These kind of things. The way I'm doing it is just the way, I see it will be more helpful, more quicker, and we can, protect the burial site faster. There's different ways of protecting a burial site, and, I strongly believe we shouldn't be purchasing our burial sites, and they should be protected. But just the way the system is today, it's making it very difficult for us to ensure the protection of anybody desecrating our burials. And for right now, to keep it in Hawaiian hands is the best way of ensuring our kupunas is going to remain, forever.
I'm pretty sure, Mahina, we won't be able to buy all the property with the caves on the burial sites, but, at least start with this one.
The truth of the matter is, and I think this is one of the lessons that I learned from Keoni, is I assume that these safeguards for these sites were in place as a state, because we fought for it many, many times. There are actually laws that supposedly protect it. But what he found, it isn't his responsibility to buy this land.
Yeah.
It is our responsibility of people of this place to say that you, as our now chiefs, is responsible for malaming that aina. It shouldn't be on a single burden. There should be those laws that are in place now. They should be held accountable, and that should not be.
Well, with Keoni's effort, I think everybody out there, with Keoni's effort, this should be the catalyst to get this thing going. And you're right, it shouldn't be Keoni's point, but the best way is to embarrass the people in power to get some funding going, to protect these sites, and I'm glad Keoni is doing a good job.
The only thing we can learn from burial sites is that they were here before us. They tended that ground, they walked that ground, and they have a right to stay there undisturbed, to be a part of what grows back, gives back. I know they're there. I don't need to go inside a cave and go, oh, look, take pictures. That's not my kuleana. As far as I'm concerned, that's embarrassing. It would be like somebody going to your house and, going in your grandmother's bedroom. Oh, this nice seat on her, That's not our kuleana. Our kuleana is to malamo.
We have 3 guests. I have 3 guests here. Mahina's a lot of. See what happened when you go to university and take Hawaiian studies? A lot of energy. But she have her qualities too, because she have a big, strong family background, and plus the University of Hawaii helps her with kind of identifying a lot of other things. Before we go to Doug, can you say your last name?
Oh, Mahina Gronquist.
Gronquist, people. And now we get a chance to talk to our third guest, Doug. thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
And Doug's come from the professional area of preserving land and helping people like Keoni to get some kind of a credibility on his project and what he's into. Doug, tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm the executive director of Hawaii Island Land Trust, and we're a nonprofit organization that works here on the Big Island to protect land that is working land or culturally significant land or habitat, all different kinds of land that people find valuable and want to protect.
No, you protect, say like you mentioned about the ranchers.
Mm-hmm.
How do you work with them?
Well, at ranchers, are under development pressure like everyone else, and a lot of times they want to get assistance in being able to maintain the ranching lifestyle, and I'm talking the traditional ranching lifestyle. And so we work with them to put conservation easements on property to protect it permanently for agricultural use.
Now, once this rancher, what happens if the rancher sells the land? Will that agreement or binding contract sticks to that land until the next owner comes by?
Yeah, the conservation easements are basically where a landowner gives away or sells their development rights to a land trust. The land trust holds those development rights permanently. So if a landowner says, I don't ever want to subdivide this property, and I'm going to give the right of subdivision to you, they get a tax deduction for that from the IRS, and they can never subdivide the property. Not only because of just law, but also because the IRS will come back and want their money back.
So what happens if the second owner comes on board? What's going to happen then?
The conditions are permanent. They flow with the land in what we say in perpetuity, forever.
How will your organization support or assist Keoni?
Well, for us, we're very interested in protecting cultural sites as part of the living history of Hawaii. And for us to assist Keoni in possibly just with advice, with some money, hopefully, and other ways, just based on our experience with protecting land, our goal is to present Keoni with a menu of options and help him in any way we can, based on our experience in protecting land.
Did you ever go down to the site itself?
Yes, yeah, I visited the site with Keoni.
So the plan is to help Keoni can you help Keoni financially or just in managing the property?
Well, we're interested in helping Keoni financially and helping organize fundraising. We also can offer him the opportunity to have the land trust be the holder of the property or the steward of the property, depending on how Keoni wants to set up actual ownership going forward. But we're very supportive of a Hawaiian organization owning the property and managing the property.
I'm looking at as a native Hawaiian, in all this land exchange before my time. If Keoni turns over that portion to your organization, will he lose any rights to it?
Well, our understanding at this time is that Keoni is buying this as a public, sort of as a public trust. So we would never stand in the way of Keoni putting it into whatever structure he wants it to be in and whatever is best from the perspective of Native Hawaiians. Technically, it's conceivable that he may transfer something that he doesn't want to transfer, but we work in an atmosphere of trust where if something needs to be fixed, it'll be fixed.
So how did you find out about this project?
Keoni called me on the phone and talked to me, and if you've ever had anything to do with Keoni, you know that you better pay attention. And so it was our pleasure to get involved and help in any way we can.
Okay, Keoni, how did you find him?
Just digging through my research and going through all my resources of looking online. That's how I got.
Well, why the trust?
For me, I called all the different land trusts, and then I figured, to try and work, with the state and trying to do the right way of protecting it rather than going into the land trust situation. But then realizing the situation that we were in, then I said, you know what, I got to get, some sort of land trust. That's another avenue that I got to look at. So that's what happened.
So, if people have large portions of lands and they want to preserve it for now until forever, and they deal with you having your organization come in, they still have the opportunity to farm or do whatever they want to do on a daily basis without. But the idea, your trust is main thing, the subdivisions don't come in, the hotels don't come in, and all that kind of thing, right?
Well, we are very supportive of appropriate development when development needs to happen, and we try to influence the course of that by emphasizing the community aspect of the land and access to the land and use of the land, because you can never get people supporting conservation or agriculture or open space unless people are out on the land. And so that's something we're very dedicated to. Certainly there are instances such as the burial cave where it's not appropriate to have everyone trooping through the property without control. And in those instances, we structure things so that control can be maintained, and in the case of a burial cave, so that appropriate care can be given to it.
But months ago we did similar what we're doing now, and we had some who was a lady from Kauai came down.
Oh, we had Ka'ehu'ae'a.
Ka'ehu'ae'a came down, and we have Ferguson on the project, and the idea was about the burial sites that was overrun by owner on Kauai. But I'm glad, Keoni, at least we're getting back to home base on the big island, with Mahina's coming on board, and working with you and with Doug yourself. Now getting back to Keoni again. So what's the future? How are we going to do this?
Well, my whole future is, the whole future for the cave is like, we don't have to do anything, to the cave. I mean, we have many more years for, generations down the line that, is going to come after us. Yeah. So as the treatment for the cave, I just believe that, it should be, protected. If there's a wall that needs to be around it to protect it that way, we can go ahead and do it, and protecting it that way. But the whole thing, it's our education as Native Hawaiians to perpetuate our Hawaiian culture. It's not like we're gonna lock up the cave and never use it again. These are our kupuna. We could still use our caves as there's many bones throughout the world that still needs to be recovered and brought back to Hawaii, and we don't know where they came from. These kind of caves can be places that we can reinter our iwi kupuna that to put back into the caves. So there's different ways of keeping our caves, because we're still here. Native Hawaiians didn't die, so we still malama, we still take care of, we still have family links to our ancestors and things like that, and it's that could be our resting place as well. So it's never dead, it's just always evolving to what our culture is.
But by you charting it, or what's going on in the cave and the activities in the cave, about how many people were kind of placed in the cave?
There's 3 full remains, and then after that, right, because there was like a collapse in the cave, but then and this cave is pretty big. It's like maybe about 30 feet wide, and throughout that whole section, you have scattered remains throughout. So it's been used well, whether it was a family burial or whatnot, but you have several different remains in there.
Was the present owner ever aware of that cave on the property? And how did you folks know about it?
Well, the people who sold the property, because there was no documentation from the state, like I said, the people who sold it can deny it because there was no documentation from the state. So, but we told them, and then they went ahead and they resold it. And the people who purchased the property now, he passed away, the landowner. So the children is asking us if we wanted to purchase the property, and it's half of the price. So it's like $12,000 to ensure the protection of this burial cave. And so they asked us first because they knew that we've been fighting for, or trying to protect the cave for many years. So they right now they're giving us the opportunity to try and save the cave. Yeah.
How far away are you from the 12,000?
Right now I got about $1,400. So we slowly getting there. There's different ways of getting it.
Keoni, tell us about your, first of all, I know we got Doug coming on board. If anything happened to you with this project, who's going to see this project through?
Like to continue it on. Like right now, it's my family that will be taking on, the continuing on of perpetuating our culture. And that's one thing unique about it is that, as I have nephews and nieces and things like that, and when they see these kind of things, they really, you can see how tradition carries on because they think it's an awesome thing to to learn about and also care for. Yeah.
And we all know you do a lot of musical DVDs, and you shared a lot of videos with community television with us here at Channel 54. What projects are you working on now?
Right now I'm doing a documentary, a statewide documentary, and it's about ancient Hawaiian burial sites. And it's a statewide one, and it's just going to go through the history and then also the present day of what we as Hawaiians are going through and why the things are the way it is. And that's what started my whole filming, was my own situation that I'm in. About.
So how big is this property we're talking about where the caves are?
The property is only quarter acre.
Quarter acre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have Mahina and Doug jump into this. Let's have an open discussion for a few minutes and talk story about this whole thing. But mainly to talk about the Puna cave that his project's on. Yeah, Mahina.
Well, I think for me, what people don't understand is this cave was in front of Keoni's house for 20 years. And Keoni wasn't out trying to buy this land, to own the land across the street, to own this property. It wasn't until development started to happen where these lots were being bulldozed by the acres. And then he realized that they were really in jeopardy. So he, at that point, had to take some measures to try and protect it. And I think he did all of the right things. He assumed that when they found it, when his brother found it 20 years ago, that they had called the police, they had documented, and those things were in place. When later on, when he found out that it wasn't there, he told the landowners about it. And they went ahead and sold the property anyway. The problem is, it's not just the entrance of the cave. The cave is 300 feet. So what we're looking at is not trying to protect the opening, but trying to protect the site. And Keoni's situation is just really the tip of the iceberg. This is Hawaii. We have kupuna on our land. Mm-hmm. They are everywhere. And it is important that they all be protected. Does it mean that the landowner's land is going to be, he can't live there or whatever? That's not the point, the issue. He can live there. Other people live there. He just can't be right on that site or put things in place that would, like a big heavy bulldozer, that would destroy the site. But we have to have it in place with its integrity intact. And we have to begin to look at that. When we look out, when our children look out for models, these are our models. Whether it's at dry land agricultural sites, do I drive down Pahoa Highway and see it? I don't see it, but they're there. There are many things that are there. And so for Keoni, it only became important when it was going to become destroyed. And so now he has held the torch up for all of us to see the problem that we face as Hawaiians. This is who we are. This is where we come from. This is what held us together. It's what the piko that runs through me and through my children. And it must not be severed. And that's all he's trying to do.
I want to let people know that, this is like, I look at Keoni, and this is a small, big project. It's like Keoni getting a pebble and throw it in the pond. I hope this ripple effect going to hit all the islands, Maui, Kauai, and everybody. And really, when Keoni did a project like this about a year ago, it awoke in all of us that seen that video that he did, and now with this right in his own backyard, it's amazing. Doug?
Once the property is secured, there may be volunteer work that can be done in terms of clearing and whatever Keoni would like to do with the property on the surface. And I just think it's like you said, it's very important to know these places are there, not necessarily to visit them. And for us to know that as a culture and a community, we are protecting important things is simply who we are. And it's this project is very exciting for us because it's a metaphor for Hawaii. The environment is the culture, and the fact that there are remains, human remains, is important, but also the land itself is the culture. And so we see it as completely a part of what we do.
You know, you just kind of got something back in my mind came up. You know, like what we were saying is this, the elderly lady mentioned it to me one time. She said, if you don't have Hawaii, you don't have Hawaiians, and our culture, you don't have Hawaii.
Absolutely.
You just don't have it. And what Keoni's project is doing is amazing, you know, but he needs a donation. Keoni, your words, final words.
It's a great thing to get involved in, you know,
Yeah.
in protecting our ancestors, and like how Auntie Mahina said, it's who we are, it's where we come from, it identifies us as natives, and how you also mentioned. So it's a great thing, and it's not only for the older ones to take, you know, charge of it. It's, you know, the younger ones can do it too, and I've seen a lot throughout doing my film. You know, I didn't realize how much younger people want to get involved in protecting their kupuna.
You know, I known Keoni for quite a while. He's one of our star students that came out of Nalio, Hawaii Community Television. Brilliant. What I'm wondering is, how did you go from superhero doing video production of music, you know, production shows and entertainers, to burial caves?
Well, it was a interesting issue. The whole thing is, I wanted to create a documentary, but I didn't really know what documentary I was going to create. And actually, when I started to do about the cave, and I seen a lot of families, you know, trying to protect their burials, and there was something wrong, you know, of why they cannot protect them, and that's, you know, descendants. Then I knew there was a problem, so I wanted to look more into it, and realizing our situation, and, you know, for me, I'm like a person that goes all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And realizing that, you know, as hard as I tried, you know, still, you know, there was barriers up, and not the full protection that, you know, I was expecting.
You know, I want to say, if anybody out there that know of burial caves or burial grounds, please contact Keoni. You know, don't go see the State Burial Council, because they're not funded right, and they don't have enough people to take care of the state of Hawaii. But on the island, contact Keoni. Can?
Yeah, I can. I'll try to.
Okay. Yeah. I want to close this series up. You know, I'm grateful for Keoni not only being the guest, but being the producer of this program that you're going to be seeing here on community television. I want to say hello to everybody, and especially our three guests here in the studio, Keoni, Doug, and Mahina, participating with us. And I want to say mahalo, and I'm asking all of you out there, please support this project. I want to say aloha, mahalo, and malama pono.